Hi, this is Katie.
And I'm Sam.
Our daughter has sensory processing disorder, and we are trying to be advocates. So today I thought it would make sense if we just went into a little bit of a condensed history of how this all came, like how did we end up finding this out. So Sam, when was the first time, okay, to start out with, I'd like to just say, I don't even like the term disorder. I think it has sort of a negative thing, so if people in the comments want to say, hey, I'd rather say this, that's fine. Like, we're new to all this, and that's cool. But, I also have always, like, when I was a kid, there was this bumper sticker that was really popular, and it was, like, basically, what is normal? And I've always felt like that. Like, there is no normal. Like, no one's normal. Who is normal?
Right.
Raise your hand if you feel like you're normal. No. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we don't really feel like our kid, we're trying to box her in and, stuff. But there are a lot of things that have to do with this. It just makes it easier if we understand what she's going through, and stuff. So, but anyway, so with that in mind, Sam, when was the first time you just felt something was maybe, like, off?
Well, like in one of the first teacher meeting conferences, there was a lot more people than we thought would be in the meeting.
Yes. No, we'll get into that. But mine was a little bit earlier because I guess probably with like the mom brain and whatever, and you're talking to a lot of moms, and moms are always talking about their kids. We're always talking about our kids, and we just happen to be in unique circumstances where one of our friends has a kid that's 6 months older, and one of our friends has a kid that's 6 months young, literally like 6 months younger. So we're like, we sort of have this little pattern thing, where we were watching, oh, she's walking, okay, so, and then she starts walking and whatever. No, she did meet, like, we do have a great, doctor and stuff, and she met all of her, like, like she was walking, crawling, doing, all the different stuff when she was supposed to. There's actually a couple times where, weirdly, she actually, like, clapped, during the picture, when we do the little pictures, 6 month picture or whatever, she started to, like, clap exactly when she, like, we were taking the picture, and we were like, well, that's when you're supposed to be clapping or whatever. So, honestly, the first time I noticed that something was, because she had gone 6 months, and she still wasn't doing this, and that the girl who was 6 months younger was talking in full sentences. She didn't talk in full sentences. And by the time, it wasn't until she was like almost 5 that she was really starting to talk completely in full sentences. And that was, so going into kindergarten, I was a little concerned because I felt that there were certain standards that they were looking for that I wasn't sure if she was actually 100% meeting those. But I figured, okay, she's going to go to kindergarten, that's when she's going to hit that stuff. So to backtrack just a little bit, when she was 3 was 2020. And we all know what happened. And so a lot of times people notice things when their kids are 3, but what you have to realize is that from 3 to 4, she's in a completely comfortable environment. We're not going out. Yeah. We're not doing stuff. We're not seeing a bunch of strangers or people she doesn't see all the time. We're only seeing people that we're very close to and very regulated circumstances, I guess you could say. And so we were concerned that this is the time when she usually would be social, when kids learn how to be social, and she just wasn't getting any socialization at all. But there wasn't really much we could do about it. But we had a baby that year too, so she was also, dealing with having a new brother, and she loves him, and they're so close, and that was not a problem. But where we might have noticed some things, we couldn't, because it just was, everything was like a new normal, whatever, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the first time we really realized that there's something going on is, again, we're going into what we thought would be just our first parent-teacher meeting with the teacher in kindergarten, and there are a room full of people.
Yeah, there's like the principal, the teacher, obviously, I think the guidance counselor,
and the EIP specialist, and somebody from the county.
Yeah, I think that person was on a Zoom or whatever, but Yeah, it's just a little weird because it's like, why are there so many people here? You know, it's like, is there more going on? Is this normal because it's like the first time and they want to have a bunch of people if we have questions? You know, but
For me, that okay, I was dealing with like a lot of people dealt with after 2020, realizing I have more problems with anxiety than you realize. So the minute I walk in and I see all these people, it's basically like red alert in my head. You know what I mean? At all the little tiny fears, a little like maybe something's going on, just sort of like came up to the front, and I was like, oh, great, I'm totally right. There's something horribly wrong.
Right.
So basically, to sum up, what they were telling us was she was nonverbal. Other than she would have, what they were seeing is temper tantrums, but because I had been dealing with my anxiety and stuff, I was seeing, as they're talking to me, she's having panic attacks. What a lot of kid symptoms are when you have panic attacks. She was refusing to write. She was refusing to read. She was refusing. She was socializing with kids, but she, again, was completely nonverbal with adults. Basically, to sum up, her school is extremely supportive, and she got into. They knew she needed to be an IEP, but we were trying to figure out exactly what she needed in IEP, which was hard because again she was being nonverbal.
Yeah.
Now, again, to remind you, at home, totally different. She's super talkative. She's talking about everything that's happening in school. We had no idea that this was going on. She's talking about all the stuff that's going on in school, the friends that she's made, all the different stuff that she's doing. She's excited. All this different stuff. We have this completely 180. So yeah, at home, she's totally normal. But at school, just, it's like Jekyll and Hyde or whatever. So we weren't really getting like a full overview of what was going on. Like they weren't getting a full overview of what was going on. She couldn't even communicate to us what was going on. So the first year of kindergarten was mostly just getting her into the IEP program and getting her comfortable at school. And by the end of the year, she was doing really good.
Yeah.
But we did have to make the hard decision to have her repeat kindergarten because although socially, she was feeling much more comfortable and so forth, and kindergarten became a safe space, she hadn't caught up academically, and going into first grade would have just made things so much harder. So the second year of kindergarten, she's really comfortable socially, making a lot of friends. I think, honestly, we lucked out with that, don't you? Because her friends group is, she has this really strong group of friends that she would not have had, because actually a lot of her friends that were in her first kindergarten, for whatever reason, didn't go to first grade, and they left the school. So she actually, I think, ends up having a better group of friends, you know? And so that worked out. But anyway, the second year of kindergarten, what became more apparent as she was more comfortable and, obviously ready to show us is that she's having a lot more motor control, fine motor control, things that are like physical. It's not emotional and, but there's physical stuff going on.
Right.
That was probably underneath all this stuff and causing all the emotional stuff. But because there was just this emotional maelstrom that we were dealing with and just trying to get her to get calm, we couldn't really figure out what was going on underneath all that.
Yeah.
So that's when I started really pushing to get an occupational therapist. And just for people who have not done this, just let you know, it's a lot of red tape and a lot of jumping through hoops, and we're still trying to get it on the outside of the schools.
Yeah. But they're doing really good. I mean, she's made a lot of progress with,
Oh yeah, no, she makes a lot of progress. Reading, right? She goes from like reading, cannot read, or what didn't want to show us she could read, to, she's reading at a middle of first grade level, so before she's even in first grade, so, and now she's reading like second grade level when she's in first grade and so forth. So, yeah, no, she's doing really well. But again, we go into the first first grade meeting, and she says everything's going well except for her writing, which was an ongoing. Everybody had kept telling us her writing is really substandard to what she should be. Her writing level should be, and we're just like, look, we've been doing this at home. You guys have obviously been doing a lot of stuff at school. We've all been working on it. We've all been working on it. When can we see an occupational therapist? Let's get that, because this just feels like this is something where you need to talk to an expert. And so then we met. So then her first IAP meeting, we meet with an occupational therapist, and at that point, she gives us this list of and she starts talking to us, and it's just like click box, click box, click box, click box, and everything that she's talking about with sensory processing disorders, everything that we've been dealing with, or may still be dealing with, and we didn't even realize that this was related to, and we're figuring out all of her fun, I don't know, I'm going to say quirks, I don't know if that's the best word, I don't want to say it something insulting, but, just things that are possibly not, exact, things where she's not, like, other kids sometimes is like, oh, like, we're figuring out, she's not a picky eater. It's sensory processing disorder, and stuff like that. Or this is why she has a hard time going to sleep, or, whatever, and all the different stuff. So, I don't know, we just wanted to make this video, basically, and we're still with us, great. It's not probably the best video. We've been interrupted about 6 times by a dog. And so forth. But, thanks for sticking with us. But the main thing we wanted to sort of, I don't know, I almost feel like we sort of have to justify a little bit, maybe, but it's just, why did it take us 2 years to figure out, that she had this, and why was it not obvious to us to start? So,
yeah.
And for those, so anyway, if you are dealing with this and you're figuring this out a little older, it's okay.
It happens.
It happens. Life happens. So anyway, thanks for sticking with us. And again, I'm Katie.
And I'm Sam.
And this is Hope in Every Sense.
Yeah, and for not for very long.
Where, she's completely